Charlie Parker, the
You
body.
could- yeah, which would be a tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
Bix Biederbecke with the alcohol and all that sort of
He
stuff.
died at 27, 28?
28.
28?
Yeah.
From alcohol.
Alcohol.
That's rare to die that young from alcohol.
But those guys were, yeah. Yes.
That age, to die of alcoholism?
I think they also had a certain amount of other things available. I think all of those guys was Teagarden and Bix and Bing Crosby, Joe Venuti. Oh
That's
my
crazy.
God. Eddie, the guitar player, and there were a bunch of others. I think they were among the first few people in public eye who were into marijuana. Crosby is particularly interesting if you think about it. You know, anybody sitting around going, you know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, there's something's going on.
Something's going on
You know?
there. And now there's a street in every city named after Bing Crosby.
I know. Well, you know. Yeah. I think that, you know, there are the extreme cases, but there's also, right today, there are other people who can be taking too much Tylenol and doing their body great harm, their liver.
And food
great
diet,
harm.
too.
Absolutely.
You know, that stuff's just as bad
there's-
as drugs, really.
There's just all sorts of things you can do your body in on. So I think you have to pretty much judge for yourself what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do.
Yeah. So when did you first discover you had that range, like that double high A? Like, was that something you always had, or?
No. I don't know when the hell that happened. I was always, I remember practicing, my father was a history professor, and I was raised in a very Ivy League, idealistic fashion at Phillips Exeter Academy in New Hampshire. And I would be up in my room, very much like you would be in your room right at the present moment, and playing to Tommy Dorsey solos on 78 records, which I had over there on the table.
Yeah.
And I'd just play it over and over again. I'd play Teagarden. I would also play, we were talking the other day of Tommy Turk.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that was somewhere around volume 9 of Jazz at the Philharmonic, and Bill Harris. I love Bill Harris everywhere, and that Nanny Goat vibrato. Any trombone player. I can't think really of any trombone player I haven't truly enjoyed.
They're so cool because they're all different, and they all kind of bring some different element. I guess that's the same, you know, with any art. Like, all artists are good for different things, you know. Visual artists, actors. You like certain actors for certain types of emotions that you want to draw from yourself.
Right.
You know, so I think that's why we like a lot of different variety, because you can't just be into one thing, because we're a multi-dimensional
That
soul.
would saying there was one red wine that was good for all.
Yeah, exactly.
One size fits all.
One size fits all.
Wrong.
Yeah, not exactly gonna happen.
I agree.
So the range thing, and then you were playing along with these records, and then...
Well, it was, again, I think that's probably where I got the higher range, playing to Tommy Dorsey. I remember C'est Si Bon.
were you straining it all when you hit that
Of
range?
course I was. I think I did everything wrong at one time or another. And I think the one thing you can't... There is one thing that just never changed, and that's the head for melody. I had that, and I knew I had it from the age of 4.
Whoa! That young?
Yep. I would sit, I was shy. I was in a dormitory. My folks downstairs had a piano nobody touched. until everybody left the house, I would touch it.
Mm-hmm.
At the age of 4, and I go wham, you know, that kind of thing. And then I go and then I would start playing on the white keys, reaching up probably, hymns that I heard in church.
Yeah.
Usually in A minor
Mm-hmm.
or C major, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? But then, if I really dared, I would start moving around with the right hand. And then a little something here. It was usually just the simplest form, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the theopenny would go up my back when something was right. And I knew it was good.
It's like a sixth sense that always
It's
was
like,
with you.
yes. You know, when you hear something you really gets you, right? And that theophany goes up your back.
I can relate. I knew at a young age
Yeah.
that the music was
That's
special.
interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
What age were?
Oh, like when I was young, I was always had melodies memorized from songs, and then I would sing my own melodies. Like after church, I would come home and then like start recording in a tape recorder my own variations of the melodies that would be going on at church, you know, and kind of get influence from those melodies and morph them into my own variations, you know.
No
Very
kidding,
young
I
age.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something nobody taught you. You fell into it. I fell into it. You know, I waited till the house was empty. I wouldn't dare near go close to it. If there's something that, you know, I suppose that what goes through the young person's head there is, what right do I, amongst all of this?
What's beyond us is that we don't know what's going on. I still don't know what's going on, where it's coming from. But I do feel that music is kind of like a bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds.
Yeah, I do too.
Mm-hmm.
I think Miles playing in the Harmon Mute all those years really appealed largely to the lonely male.
Wow. I could totally see that.
Yeah. Yeah. And undoubtedly other lonely people too, but the lonely male, I think, was probably the reason why that particular sound, you know, there's so much tension in that thing, and yet it's playing slow, and, you know, ooh, you could just feel that thing, you know.
Special.
Yeah. Judy Garland, what was it in her that made, I played one of her largest concerts, Boston Common, in front of over 100,000 people.
Nice.
Yeah, it's somewhere there's a tape, a little snippet that appears in one of the you know, tributes to her and all that sort of stuff. Lead trombone player was yours truly, and
Judy Garland.
I couldn't believe it. I liked her a lot myself. Ever since The Wizard of Oz, you know.
Yeah, she was probably a household
yes, she was.
name and person that everyone just loves.
Decca Records, babe. The blue label. 1939.
1939.
Yeah.
And I heard Somewhere Over the Rainbow was actually going to be cut from the film, and they decided at the last minute to put that in.
Can you believe it? I mean, and they put it in that little section, you know. It didn't make any sense, really, but they left it in, right?
And that's what everyone knows now.
That's right.
The rest is history.
Whoa. Isn't that the way it is?
Someone said, "Oh, I don't like this one." That's proof right there. You can't listen to everyone's opinion.
You got to go with your own instincts.
Exactly.
And that's what we're talking about. Why, at age 77, do I still have that instinct going for me? As such as it is a wilting flower. And why, in you, at 31, are you doing Paul the Trombonist on YouTube? My God. I saw that first when you first started doing it, it was a young black trombone player. There were two of you in front of a green screen, and you were doing different things, simple stuff. And I'm looking at you in those days, and I'm sure there weren't too many hits in those days, not like today. And I'm going, ooh, that's good. And why did I feel that way? I'm always one who's been trying to get the races together. That has always been very strong in my family. Basically, if you saw the movie The Help, you would understand. My family, because my father was a professor and my mother was busy working in administration, we had a black woman in the family during that period of time. And that was a huge influence on me. Why does this 5 and 6 year old take a loving listen to Louis Armstrong? Being raised in the WASP family that I was raised, you've got to be kidding, you know.
Hello, you've been watching the adventures of Phil Wilson and Paul the Trombonist. Welcome to our video series. This is video number 5 of our series. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more. Interviews, master classes, studio sessions, original material, and standards.